Hello, this is Ilian, and in this video, we're going to focus on the two-factor authentication options that are available for MeshCentral. So let's take a look at this right now. So if you've been using the internet and a lot of websites, you will know that passwords are not good enough anymore. You need a second factor, usually in addition to proof of knowledge, which is a password. You need something like proof of possession. The fact that you own or possess some token will serve as a second factor. So MeshCentral has a lot of different two-factor authentication support, and so we're going to take a look at a few of them. And we have our trusty developer server on the right here. I'm running it on the left, and so you can see that I've set it up. And I've also set up in the configuration file of my server a SMTP server for Gmail here, so that my server can send out emails to different users for various things, including two-factor authentication. So if you go into My Account tab, you will see that there's a bunch of sections here in the account security section. And so the first one I want to cover is the Authenticator app. So this will give you a code that you can take and put in your Google Authenticator or one-time password application. There's many of them. This is an open standard. So you download that or any other app you want, and it will give you this QR code. So if you're not familiar with this Google Authenticator, you can go online and find it for your phone. But I'm just going to take a look at images. It sort of looks like this. So it's an app that has 6-digit codes that will rotate usually every 30 seconds and for different websites. And so what you do is you take the app, and I'm going to run it here on my phone, and you scan by hitting the plus here, scan QR code. You scan the code on the screen, and then it will add a new account. And of course, you need to verify that you got the password correctly, so you need to type in the digits that the application gives you. So in my case here, I'm getting these 6 digits. And of course, it will change every 30 seconds, so you want to be fairly quick about it. And so it says activation successful, and you are done. Now, next time you log out, you log back in, it will ask you for a token here for the second factor. And so I can go ahead and type in the new token, and now it's changed since the last token I've typed. And you can say whether you want to remember this device for 14 days, and you are done. So here I just set up and use a two-factor authentication with the Google Authenticator app. Now, another thing that is important is that if you lose your factor, you won't be able to access your account. So it's very important that you have a backup. Now, you can set up any two factors and use one of them. The second one that's nice is the backup codes. So you click on backup codes here, you generate some, and it will generate a bunch of them. So you copy them, and in this case, I'll just paste them into Notepad like this. So I have my codes. And these codes are all one-time use. So I'm going to log back out of this account. I'm log back in, and it's asking me for a token. Now, I could use the Google Authenticator that I did last time, but I'm going to use one of these codes, for example, this one, paste it in here, say OK, and now I'm logged in. But if I go here and type backup codes, you'll see that this one is out, right? It's no longer usable. So if I log out and I log in again and paste that code, it won't work. And in this case, the server will delay a little bit and say invalid token. Now, of course, I can use another one like this one, say OK, and I'm in. But of course, now I have, and of course, it's telling me that there was an attempt on the token here, and we'll get to this. But now you click at backup codes and you see 2 of the codes are burnt. Now you can generate new tokens at any time. So you just generate tokens, you copy them, put them back on your worksheet here, and you save those for emergency use. So that's the Authenticator app, that's the backup codes. By the way, at any time you can say click on View Previous Logins, and it will tell you all of the previous logins you've made on the server. This is another security layer, because if somebody's trying to hack into your account, you'll know about it. Now, if somebody typed in the wrong password, that happens all the time. But here, we can see that there's an invalid second factor authentication. That means that this login attempt, the password was successful, but the second factor was not successful. So this is fairly critical. If you didn't expect that, that means that somebody tried to log in and knew your password. So just be on the lookout for that. Okay, the next one I want to talk about is security keys. So you can buy these little keys, and this is like $15 or $20 on eBay or so on. And you just you go on eBay, and you type FIDO USB, and you'll get a bunch of these. So there's a bunch of different formats. There are some that have NFC, and they will work on your mobile phone. There's some that has Bluetooth support, and so on and so forth. And there's some low-profile ones that are really nice. They're very, very small, and so on. So if you have a low-profile one, the nice thing, like this one I use, I have a few of those. You plug them in your keyboard. If you have a USB keyboard that has extra USB plugs in the back, you keep one of those, and then there's simply a little button, and when asked to, you can trigger the key. So let's take a look at how that works. What you do, I'm going to close this here. What you do is you go in security key. I have no key set up. I say add one, and you can type a name here. So if you have multiple keys, you'll know which one you're set up. I'm not going to type a name. I'm just going to say OK. And then it's asking me for, you're about to set up a security key. I'm going to say OK. Then it says touch it. So you tap the button on it, and there you go. You have my key set up. And if you have multiple keys, you can set a few. I have one on my keychain personally. So when I'm traveling, if I want to do two-factor authentication, I always have that one on a keychain. Now, in addition to the one that's built into my keyboard. So then I can close this, log out. When I log back in, you'll notice that I can enter a token. So this would be the Google Authenticator on the cell phone. It would be one of the backup codes if I have that. Or you'll see that there's an icon for a key here. I click on the icon, and it tells me touch the key. I tap the button, and I'm in. So this is by far the most practical way to do two-factor. Again, it's crazy fast. You just tap the key, boom, and you're in. Just press the button. So that's excellent. The other things, there's two other second-factor authentication I want to talk about. The phone number and the email. So email, you can enable this if you want. And then when you log out and log back in, there's a email icon. And when you click on this, it will simply send a code to your email address. So I'm not going to look at it now, but I could log into, or actually on my phone. There you go. It actually sent it on my phone. It will say, MeshCentral account, and it will send me a code on my phone's email. There you go. And actually, it's a longer code here. 202469. And I say log in, and I'm in. So this is a two-factor authentication by email. It's not necessarily the best because you want to, sometimes you don't want to do two-factor using your email, but it can be a nice backup if that's okay. The last one I want to show you is SMS. Now, if you have a Twilio or Plivo account, those are two companies that MeshCentral supports built in. In fact, if you go to meshcentral.com, you'll see the icons for Twilio and Plivo. And these are two SMS providers. You can create accounts for free just to get started and try signing up with the server. And then it's very small fees per text message. You will have a small monthly fee for keeping the phone number, and then an additional low monthly fee for sending SMS messages. So I happen to have one set up. So when a user, if you have one of those accounts set up, the user will see the managed phone number, and you can type in your phone number. Now I'm going to type my phone number off screen here and say OK. And as soon as I hit OK, it asks me for a verification code. And what happens is that MeshCentral used the SMS provider that you provided and sent an SMS code to my phone. So now I will go ahead and type that code in and say OK. And boom, my phone number is now set up. Now if I log out, log back in, you'll see that now I have the SMS option, and I can click on SMS, click OK. It doesn't give me the phone number, obviously that's for your account and but you click OK, it says SMS sent. And then if I go back again, I see the access code on my phone, and I can go ahead and type that. 281 and log in. There we go. One last thing I really want to mention is that if you use the Authenticator app, and I'm going to remove it here and reactivate it. If you use this on your website, it's super important that the server's clock in UTC is set correctly. So obviously, if you have the server not set to the right time, and it doesn't match what these cell phones or what other device time you have, then this will not work. So just make sure you have the correct time set. In any case, this has been, I think, a pretty good review of two-factor authentication for MeshCentral. Super important feature for keeping your users safe. There is a configuration in MeshCentral in the config.json to mandate that your servers, that your users have two-factor authentication. In fact, one last thing before I leave here. If you go in your user list, you will see icons. There's a little key here next to users that have set up two-factor authentication. And the little phone is for users that have a verified phone number. So they can do two-factor using their phone. But there is an option to mandate that users set up two-factor authentication. If this is a server that's super important for you, I do recommend that you turn that on and basically mandate that all your users do this. Okay, thank you so much, and have a nice day.